So good day everyone. I am Princess Dayan B. Umali and this is my report. Every word in a sentence plays a specific role within a sentence. A correct arrangement of words in a sentence is very necessary to create a clear ideas. But how we will arrange words correctly? So now we will going to discuss about syntax. So first, let us define syntax. Syntax is the arrangement of words in a sentences, clauses, and phrases, and the study of the formation of sentences and the relationship of their components part. It is also one of the major components of grammar. So, syntax is just simply the arrangement of words correctly to form a sentence and convey a clear message. So, syntax has an element. The first one is part of sentences. We have subject, predicate, and object. Subject is the actor of the sentence, the person or thing doing the action. And the predicate expresses what is said of the subject. And the last one is object. Object is the receiver of the action. We also have phrases. Phrases is a group of words without a subject or verb. And the third one is clauses. Unlike phrases, clauses is a group of words with a subject and verb. And the last one is sentence structure. The construction of simple, confound, complex, or compound complex sentences. So, later, we will talk about those sentence structure. But for now, let's proceed to 4 essential rules of syntax in English language. So, in order for us to make a right syntax, we should follow a rules. The first one is a complete sentence requires a subject and a verb and express a complete thought. So, when we will make a complete sentence, it should have a subject and verb. Example, Alea quickly ate her lunch. So, we have a subject, Alea, and we have a verb, ate. So, let's proceed to number 2. Separate ideas generally require a separate sentences. So, if we have 2 ideas, then we should make a 2 sentence as well. And the third one is English word order follows the subject, verb, object sequence. Like this one, I like coffee. So, this sentence follow the subject, verb, object sequence. We have a subject I, and we have a verb like, and we have a object coffee. And the last one is a dependent clause contains a subject and verb, but it doesn't express a complete thought. So, if you have a dependent clause, it should have a subject and verb, but it doesn't express a complete thought. Like this one, when she wakes up. So we have a subject, she, and we have a verb, wakes up. But this sentence doesn't express a complete thought. So, let's move on to 4 sentence types in English language. So, as I said earlier, we have sentence structure. The first one is simple sentences. simple sentences has the most basic elements that make it a sentence: a subject, a verb, and a completed thought. It follows a subject-verb format. Let's just remember that simple sentence follow a subject-verb format. Example, the girl ran. So, we have the subject, girl, followed by the verb, run. The next one is, take note that these sentences are not simple just because they are short. In fact, we can include more information and still be simple. Like this second example. John and his wife bought a brand new car for just 500,000 pesos 2 weeks ago. We have a subject, John and his wife, and a verb, bought. The second one is compound sentence. Compound sentence consists of two or more independent clauses joined by coordinating conjunction and express more than two main ideas at once. So, simple sentences just followed a subject and verb format, while compound sentence, it is consisted of two or more independent clause and joined together by using coordinating conjunction. But first, let us define what is independent clause. Independent clause, it's a sentence with at least one subject and one verb that can exist on its own and conveys a clear message. So, independent clause, it is a sentence with have a one subject and one verb, and it convey or it gives a clear ideas. So, compound sentences composed of two or more independent clauses joined by coordinating conjunction. Let's take a look this example. We all enjoyed the dinner that Dad cooked for us. That sentence is an example of an independent clause. We all enjoyed the dinner. So, we have a subject, we, and a verb, enjoyed. So again, compound sentence consisted of two or more independent clause joined by coordinating conjunction. Let's have an example. I want to lose weight, yet I eat chocolate daily. So we have our first independent clause, I want to lose weight. It has a subject and a verb. And the second one is I ate chocolate daily. And those two independent clause is joined by a coordinating conjunction yet. Let's have another example. I saw Samuel yesterday, but he didn't see me. So we have I saw Samuel yesterday and he didn't see me. And those two independent clauses are joined together using coordinating conjunction but. So, the third one is complex sentences. Complex sentences contains an independent clause and a dependent clause. Dependent and independent clauses are joined together with a subordinate conjunction. Example is after, although, because, before, since, until, when, and where. So, compound sentence consisted of two or more independent clause, while complex sentence consisted of one independent clause and one dependent clause, and we can join them together using subordinate conjunction. But first, let us define dependent clause. Dependent clause, a group of words that contains a subject and a verb, but it doesn't make sense on its own as a sentence. So, unlike dependent clause contains a subject and verb, but it doesn't convey a clear message. It doesn't give you a clear message. Like this one, Sharla went to the park after she finished school. Those words with an underline is an example of dependent clause. We have a subject, she, and a verb, finished. But it doesn't give you a clear message. So, again, complex sentence is consisted by one independent clause and one dependent clause and joined together using subordinate conjunction. Let's have an example. Even though I was angry with him, I answered his call. So, we use a subordinate conjunction, even though. Then, let's proceed to next example. Although they were tired after the marathon, the cousin decided to go to celebration at the park. So, here, we have one independent clause and one dependent clause. Although they were tired after the marathon is an example of dependent clause. While the cousin decided to go a celebration at the park is an example of an independent clause. So let's proceed to compound complex sentence. Consists of multiple independent clauses as well as a one dependent clause. So compound complex sentence, it is consisted by multiple independent clause. So here we can have two or more independent clause, but we should have at least one dependent clause. Example. Though Alex prefers watching romantic films, she rented the latest spy thriller and she enjoyed it very much. So we have two independent clause which is she rented the latest spy thriller and she enjoyed it very much. And we have one dependent clause which is though Alex prefers watching romantic films. And another example is even though he was nervous, the boy jumped and he landed across the stream. We have one dependent clause which is even though he was nervous, and we have two independent clauses which is the boy jumped and he landed across the stream. Again, the fourth sentence structure is the simple, compound, complex, and compound complex sentences. Simple sentence is just follow the subject and verb format, while compound sentence is consisted by a independent clause. Complex sentence that consisted of one independent clause and one dependent clause and joined together using a subordinate conjunction. And the last one is we have compound complex sentence consisted of multiple independent clauses and should have at least one dependent clause. Before we end our discussion, I prepare a short quiz. You can answer it if you want. The first one is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb but it doesn't make sense on its own as a sentence. The second one is the arrangement of words in sentences, clauses, and phrases, and the study of the formation of sentences and the relationship of their components part. The number 3 is consists of multiple independent clauses as well as at least one dependent clause. Has the most basic elements that make it a sentence: a subject, a verb, and the completed thoughts. And last one, number 5, is a group of words with a subject and verb. And that's all. I hope you learn some lesson.
24, eliminated.